All right, guys, welcome back. BDTR Wednesday Night Live. I know everybody's been anticipating this, and we're doing the video guest thing for the first time tonight here. So got a little screwed up because apparently Facebook decided to automatically go live on me, and I hate when it does that because it's like either you're waiting for it and you don't know the stream's going on, or you want it to be live and you're like, okay, 2 minutes into it, oh, you've been live for 2 minutes, by the way. So there's that. But we've got Kylie here tonight. I'm going to bring her in real quick so you guys can see how the video, hopefully the video looks. Oh, look, there she is. There she is. So welcome, Kylie.
Hello.
And just real quick, I wanted to address everybody. I know we had last Saturday's podcast was nixed off of YouTube because, you know, whatever. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. So just so you guys know, it's still everywhere else. I highly recommend everybody look at it. I think we had a great interview, great time talking to Charlie. So, and you know, I know everybody tonight is like, oh yeah, they're, you know, Paul and this Bedford Coward fake press or whatever. I think he's live right now. So let's see if we can steal some of his viewers. And then he can cry about that.
I'm sure.
And here's the thing. So, and this is what really is kind of mind blowing. So he's accusing us of using him as a like platform to get more viewers. Meanwhile, like that's actually what Paul and APH are literally doing. It's leeching his freaking viewers. So, but welcome to the show, Kylie.
Hey, thanks.
So I guess to get started, let's go back to the beginning because I remember specifically you were like APH enemy number one, right? For a long time.
To say the least, yes.
Yeah. So what, how did this all get started? Like, how did you meet Paul? Because you were a decoy in the group, right? So how did that all get started?
Well, I never knew Paul whatsoever until I want to say it was mid-April. It was around the time of the Mike Strunk catch at Pacifico's. People shared that catch. And when I watched that one, I was like, oh, wow, like there's this local group doing this. So I reached out, asked if there was anything I could do to help. And Paul got back to me and was like, oh, yes, we need decoys. We need this, blah, blah, blah. So I met with him and another guy that was helping him at the time. And I said that I'd be a decoy, that I would also help him with, as he said, quote unquote, PR stuff. He informed me about the fundraiser he was planning on having in July. He wanted to get set up at different like vendor events. I know one of the things was he wanted to be set up at like the Harley Davidson, the Roundhouse Rally in Johnstown. He wanted to get set up at different events to get his name out there, which made sense to me. So when I met up with him, we discussed different possibilities and options that he could potentially look into. And he told me a little bit about how to decoy. Well, I would say a week or so into looking into different options to help him with fundraising and raising money, I asked him if he was a 501c3, because I know when you start getting into higher donations and you want to run fundraisers, you need certain licenses and things like that. And he never replied to me. So things started to get a little bit weird. So I stuck around for a little bit, talked to some members of the group, and there was a couple of them in the group that really seemed sincere but then red flags just started like flying all over the place for me.
Right.
Meanwhile, a couple of close friends knew Paul, and they kept telling me to watch my back.
It's never good.
And
That's
I
always
was like,
reassuring.
Yeah.
well, in my exact words to them, because one of the things they told me was, he had a history of like stealing. And I said, well, people can change. Like, I do believe that people can make mistakes and learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently he doesn't. Because
Well, but I think that's an important thing for people to remember too. Is it's not like you just woke up one day or like, oh, I'm going to get this guy. Like you tried to be reasonable and try to get him to do things the right way, from what I understand.
Yes. And I actually have several messages, like still, like I keep them to this day for obvious reasons right now. At one point I told him I was going to have to step back because I was not comfortable with him not being a registered 501c3. Like that was a big one for me.
Oh, yeah.
I was not comfortable collecting donations, even like basket donations, without him having any licensing and working, going to the UU for a fundraiser and, doing raffles and small games of chance, because I know how that stuff works. And when I would like offer to help him with these things, it was like I don't know if you want to say it was like some sort of like God complex. It was like, oh no one, he was the leader. He would do what he had to do.
Narcissism. I think that's what they call that.
Well, yeah. And then the couple of people that I found in the couple of weeks that were genuine disappeared. All of a sudden they were nowhere. And I was like, this is really weird.
Well, it did. So even finally, me coming from the outside in, and people want to complain that, oh, you just bash and whatever. When this first came out, your first post, the big post about Paul with all the like stars, and I mean, it was pretty well written, looked good anyway. But I didn't, because we had talked a little bit, but I didn't know you all that well. So I'm like, okay, so I put that post up there and I put his video up there. The whole video that he posted, both of those things, your post and his video, were on the page. So he certainly got a fair shake on that. And then I remembered he was the guy with the Marine tattoos that, to everybody's knowledge, he was never Marine, to the point that he was even telling some people that pretty much had him dead to rights, oh, they're just support tattoos. So that was kind of when I was like, okay, fuck this guy.
That was, one of the big things going around right now is, oh, everyone's my friend and they're just backing me up. And the reality of it is, I would say 99% of the people who have like backed up what I've said, have put out their own stuff at this point, were complete strangers. Like even you, I knew a little bit about you, but it was when we talked about the Paul situation and you said, oh, this is not the first time he's, come across this page.
Right.
And I was like, really? And, as much as the claims are that I'm friends with so-and-so, especially, Shelly, bless her heart, I didn't even know her when she was in APH. I was a part of it the same time she was. That is true. I still have our group chat as well of everybody talking and like Shelly being in there and me never saying a word because I didn't know these people. I maybe had 2 weeks before I like told Paul that I had to step back.
So
one of the reasons I told Paul was because of the stuff that I was hearing about Shelly, because I didn't know what was true or not.
Right.
Well, then, a couple weeks later, I put stuff out about Paul and Shelly messages me. And she's like, listen, I want you to know, like, I support what you're doing about Paul. But, supposedly I'm doing this because Shelly got kicked out. No, she didn't. She broke up with Paul. That's what happened.
Well, first off, just pro tip, guys, when you're running an organization like this, don't be involved with your members. All right, whether it's a business or a whatever kind of group, that's just bad. it will always end badly.
Well, that's another thing. Almost any female that messages him to be a decoy, he ends up trying to date them.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the exes or any of the females that have messaged him to be a decoy will probably tell you that. And despite them saying, I message everyone, there was only one girl, one, and I will admit it because there's nothing to hide.
Mm-hmm.
I messaged her first because she told someone that knew me, can you have Kylie message me?
Yeah.
So I messaged this girl, and my first message to her was, I was told that you wanted me to message you.
Right.
That's it. All the other girls messaged me first and had similar stories, whether it was, oh, they contacted him to be a decoy, or they dated him even before APH and he did this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a million miles long, the things people have told me.
Well, and this to me is why it's convincing, because even though I didn't know you, like the way you went about things, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure she's legit. I mean, because, I'm suspicious of everybody. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
Me too.
But
Me too.
I mean, it's good to have, some healthy suspicion about everybody, because that's hopefully how you avoid people like Paul. Although it seems like he's pretty good at putting on an act to begin with to kind of rope everybody in. But back to my original point, when you have all these different people that didn't know each other prior to this, and they're all telling the same story, probably something there.
Yeah. And that was part of like what really had me like finally say I had to go public. Because again, I waited probably a week or two before I put everything out there, because I knew it was going to be a big deal. I knew Paul had reached like 16,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
I knew people were really hopeful for this APH situation. I was. It was actually like really upsetting to me to find out that it was such a terrible situation.
Well, that's the thing, is
and when I put it out
nobody's
there-
against this group for trying to catch predators. Now, there's a lot of issues with the way they do it, and that's the way that, Crazy Chris and Paul put it. Oh, they just love pedophiles. That's not fucking true at all, dude. No. That's not fucking true at all.
No, well, even like the letter that, you wrote up for people to insert like their own name and stuff like that to send out to like Jim Gregory and stuff.
Well, and hey, guess what? Jim Gregory did introduce a bill.
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm not taking credit for that. I'm joking. I'm joking.
But that's like,
because you guys are the ones that wrote the letters.
Exactly.
Okay, so
yes, they actually did it, and Jim Gregory proposed that bill, and it's phenomenal. And I'm not even against people in a way. I don't know at this point if I am pro pred hunter groups at this point, because I realize the way they can cause difficulty for law enforcement to actually get cases prosecuted.
Well, you need to they need to understand how to, especially when it comes to digital evidence, like digital forensics and stuff. At the bare minimum, if you're doing a catch, you better at least have everything on a phone that you can just turn over to the police. They can get that digital image, because these chat logs and shit, you show up with printed out chat logs in court and you're probably going to get laughed out. That's just the reality.
Yes, but I am very pro reach out to your local law enforcement, your local detectives, local DAs, and set up meetings and ask them how you can help.
Right.
Because despite what Paul says, they will meet with you. Whether they completely agree with you or not, they will tell you the things you can do to help.
Well, and that's the thing.
I mean,
because
that is true. There are things we can do.
Right. And there's plenty of things that, I go after Pete Weeks for. But honestly, in this situation, it seemed like he was sincere about wanting to try to find a way to prosecute these cases. But Paul, instead of trying to work with them, I guess, he just goes to the news and is like, oh, they don't want to prosecute these cases because they love pedophiles. That's basically what he presented to the news.
He didn't even try.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the first things, actually. I forgot that part. When I met with him to be a decoy, the Pete Weeks bashing was it was a lot. And I remember in my head, I was like, wow, like this is awful, because a little bit of me was like, Pete's really not doing anything. Like, I can't believe Pete's not meeting with you. Like, I was genuinely like, this is terrible. And I was shocked and I was baffled. And I remember saying to Paul, like, you know, I'm going to see what I can do to help you get a meeting with him, to find out that, yeah, it was shocking because he wasn't trying to meet with Pete.
Yeah.
Because like Sarah and Courtney, when they they left APH, and they were there was 2 of 3 that really were red flags when they left the group. They were 2 that I finally messaged, and I was like, are you guys not with them anymore? And I said, you know what? Reach out to Pete Weeks yourself. He met with them within a week. So it was definitely a Paul issue.
Well, and that seems to be, the more you kind of go down the Paul rabbit hole, it's always, everything's all about him, you know, because he's got to be the guy in the video. I mean, if I was him, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, you know, I'm the greatest looking, best presenter, whatever, on video. But if I do an hour-long video, it's not so painful to watch it. There's still people watching at the end. Whereas that fucking video he made, it's like, oh my God.
I mean, mine might be that bad, but that's besides the point.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so if you're really serious about like a group like this, you have your most outgoing, like I would honestly have her doing all the PR shit because she is better at it than me. Okay, I admit that. That's why I wanted her on here, because she's good at this stuff. She's good with people. You know, she's a bubbly personality. But that's the thing. When you have an organization like that, you have to find people to fill certain roles. You don't just, well, I want to be the guy in front of the camera and talk like this old. You know, that's not going to get you anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And he would tell people, and I mean, there was some truth to it. Like he would tell people he was the only person that could talk in the videos for, you know, evidence purposes, and he couldn't show people case files and this, that, and the other. And it was like, you know, there's some truth that the less people involved, the easier it is. But then he's making live videos as of yesterday showing the evidence.
Yeah.
Like he is showing the full conversations on a live video of cases that are currently being investigated. Make it make sense.
He's just
because
doubling
he's
down,
trying to prove
stupid.
that these are legit catches. And, you know, some of these people he catches, they are creeps, 100%. But now they're creeps that are most likely going to walk because he didn't work with law enforcement in the beginning. Like, he didn't have to do it on Facebook Live.
Well,
He didn't have to make a show on Facebook. If he really wants to help children, he could do it behind the scenes. It doesn't have to be an act of fame.
well, that's why I call it the reality TV show, because that's what it is. It's
And
not.
that's what it is for him.
Yeah.
Yes,
He just wants to be famous.
100%.
Oh, he's
Yes.
he's famous, and he might be more famous if he keeps it up.
Right. And I don't know how he's gotten away with it for so long. I really don't.
He
Like
he reminds
I don't
me a
know.
lot of Ted Simpson in the way that he doesn't have his dad to like take care of all of his shit, but he's just smart enough.
Oh yeah, his own dad hates him.
Yeah, he's just smart enough to know how to kind of play the game. So,
Yeah.
but
And
I'll tell you what,
crazy backing him.
I don't
Yeah.
understand that at all, and I think she's going to get a rude
I don't
awakening
either.
when everything comes out. So,
Exactly, because like
And that, yeah,
I just
you
I can't
you
even.
can put me on the crazy list at this point because this much of me almost feels bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it was pretty
part
eye-opening.
of me truly believes that she trusts him. You know what I mean? Like, I think she believes he's telling her the truth.
Yeah.
And if you have someone that you've known, 10, 15 years, and they're telling you this stuff, you're going to go to war for them.
Well, and it's just like when
And-
she obviously has her own issues from when her sister was on talking.
Yes,
Even if you
yes.
take everything Renee said with a grain of salt, which none of her stories She doesn't come across as somebody trying to play the victim. Whereas,
No, she admits, where the wrongs were on her side.
yeah.
But that's where, like, obviously they work well together, Crazy and Paul, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that small little part of me that's like, he's lying to her too. There's no doubt. He is not being honest.
Yep.
And I feel a little bit bad.
Part of me wants to as well, but then the other part of me
I know,
wants
but
to be
I
like,
look at what she's done to me the last 3.5 months,
honestly,
and I'm like,
even
I don't.
even outside of that crazy shit, like even if she did nothing else, at some point you gotta start questioning shit. And if you are so blind that you will blindly believe your friend after
Yeah.
so many red flags, because you can't tell me that she even can't see some red flags here with as many people, especially now, and it's so public, and for everyone to be like, hey, he's lying.
Yeah. Newsflash.
If you're still
Yeah.
backing him at that point, you're kind of a fucking idiot. Sorry.
Well,
That's
and
my opinion.
it's just
though.
like how they brought fucking Randy in from Bedford. Now, I haven't liked him for a long time. And
that one blew. And the only reason I know about that is because he attacked Shelly.
that's what I
I'm
don't
like, Shelly
understand.
has basically,
Why did he do that?
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
yes.
He claims he has paperwork, and then
Right.
he's like,
And
well, I
according
double
to
checked
him,
with Paul.
Yes.
So which was it? Did Paul lie, or did he forge paperwork? Because it's one or the other.
And either way, one of them can get in big trouble. So
That's like
either
really, really not okay.
Randy lied big that he saw paperwork
Mm-hmm.
and put that out there about Shelly, or Paul is forging paperwork because it doesn't exist.
Yep.
There is nothing on Shelly. You can look her up.
Exactly.
Like that poor girl, he is running her down for no reason.
Well,
All
that's
she did was break up with him.
exactly.
That's it.
Like, why are they after so many? Like, anybody that comments on anything, she is so vehemently after. Like, you know everybody, you run every single page that pops up. Apparently,
Well, see, that's how it
all these-
started.
She thinks I
Everything,
am
was Kylie, and then all of a sudden, we pop up
Everything.
on the podcast. Obviously, there's at least 2 more people involved. There's a lot of people involved. And just like that stupid fucking. I saw that birthday post and I just laughed. I'm like, oh my god. Big reveal. You mean you got on a public website and figured out how to get the publicly available information? Like, I
right.
mean, seriously.
Well, and
You
that's the
finally
worst
did what I
part,
wanted you
too.
to do. The best birthday
is-
gift I could have ever asked for. Sorry.
And then everyone's like, that's not Kylie. This is who we are. Like all these,
Yeah.
anonymous people have revealed themselves now to
Yep.
prove it's not me. And then the one group, Central Pennsylvania Pred Hunters, that I don't even know who runs it. Now she thinks it's me. I'm like, oh,
and
that's great.
I've seen
'cause
she
I don't
keeps
know who that one
attacking
is
them,
either.
saying, "Oh, they're not a nonprofit." They never said they were. I've never seen anywhere where they said they were a nonprofit.
Bingo.
Unlike
that
Paul.
was like my first encounter with them. They messaged me when the stuff about APH came out, and they said, we just want to let you know we are a newer group, and we are not officially a nonprofit yet, but we are not claiming to be one, and we are not taking donations either.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like afraid that I was, coming for everyone. But and whoever runs that page is very kind,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
I don't know if half the
Like,
pages
I have
that
no
popped
idea.
up are
I know it's not me.
exactly.
And she thinks I'm everyone. She thinks I have all this pull. And
Well,
I'm
she
like,
thinks we all have as much time to sit on
Do you
Facebook
think-
as she does.
Yeah. Apparently,
Yeah.
Kylie, you can
and I mean,
like
there
turn
was
back
pages
time
that
from Harry
came out
Potter
and all
shit.
this that I didn't even know existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I don't know, Schmitty or Shitty of Altoona.
I love
Never
that
heard of them
page.
before this.
I don't know who they are, but I love what they post.
Or, right. There was ones I never heard of,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm everyone.
Well, it seemed like a lot of them did pop up around the time when but I think part of it was too, people saw what was going on, but they were smart enough to be like, well, I'm not going to put my name out there so she can start trying to call my workplace or harass my family
Yeah.
or like, that's just common
Yes.
sense,
And that's the thing that really actually
Yes.
kind of pisses
And I
me
mean,
off.
like
Like, you should be allowed to have an opinion,
Yeah.
and you should be allowed to post something. But for her to like be threatening to call CYS, calling people's workplaces, posting people's workplaces, all the crazy shit that she's been doing to people. Why? What is wrong with you?
Yes, and that's
I
where
know
it
she's
crossed the
watching.
line
So
for
seriously,
me.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah. When I felt like when I got people from like some of the organizations and stuff that I'm a part of messaging me saying, "Do you know this person? She's messaging us." And I was like, "No, I don't know her personally." And like having to tell them about a situation that I did not want to have to tell them about because it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
No.
But she was reaching out to personal people all because she's like, "Oh, you will never be in a position of power." But then here she is saying, I am in some sort of position of power that I can control everyone in Altoona.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Like apparently,
I think she's
I
just being
snap
a
my fingers
racist.
and everyone does what I say.
I think she's being racist because you have that Italian last name, so you must be a mobster, and you're running you're
Right?
putting the boots to them,
The
and
double Italian
breaking
last
the
name with that.
kneecaps. Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Surprised
then
you
she
haven't sent a horse
threatens
head
me
yet.
with, "Oh, I know the chief of police of Altoona." Congratulations. I'm not committing illegal actions. Like, I'm glad you know him. If he knows you, then he should know what you're about.
Who? Joe Merrill. I don't
Yeah.
know him personally, but I know a few things about him. Probably more
Well,
than
she
she
claims
does.
that she does. She claims she helped train him
What?
when he was a cadet. Lil Joey can't at camp. I have the messages. They were text messages. Yeah, there's so much I have.
I almost want to email him and be like, "So is any of this true?" Like, I know you don't like me and I don't like you, but I just
Well,
have
that's
to
when
know.
I was at the police station. One of the times I said, "Can you explain this to me?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "She's telling me you guys aren't going to do anything because she knows you." And he said, "I don't have any idea who this is." I said, "Well, apparently she says you do." But you don't know which way to believe, but
Well, I would say there's not a
apparently
lot of. Had she worked at a Blair County department, she would have known more people down here. Now, I don't know. Maybe she had. A lot of cops will go and play instructor for a little bit at the academy or whatever. And with her having the canine stuff, it might have been that. But Christ, APD didn't even have canines for years because when Freeling was over there, she didn't. Go ahead.
I remembered when I was there 2 times ago and we were discussing different things. I said she was like a canine officer, and he said, "For where?" And I said, "Somewhere at Center County State College." And he said, "State College doesn't have a canine unit. They never have." And I said, "Well, she's a canine officer." He said, "Well, it can't be the State College Police Department. They've never had one."
Was it campus police?
And I said, "What about?" Well, that's what I said. I said campus police, surrounding areas, maybe. He said, "Maybe the campus police." He said, "But State College Police Department does not and never had a canine unit."
I thought for sure that patch on
And
her arm and the one.
that's from,
I don't know. I'd have to look at it again.
I don't know. Because that was from here at the police department. I won't give out an officer's name or anything, but yeah, I was like, well, I don't know. So that was kind of crazy to me too.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, I'll say.
You
But
can't even write a drama this good.
There's so much.
well, I'll tell you what.
I have a notebook.
I'm gonna put the number up just in case, because I had gotten word that maybe some people wanted to call in tonight.
No
Oh,
We know you're watching, dude. Like, not clicking into it isn't crafty, man. Like, everyone knows that trick, but we know you're watching.
I'm here.
I mean, why don't you call in and explain yourself? If Chris Ann's dog ate your DD214, we'll accept that answer for tonight. All right.
Hey.
I'll help you get a new one.
And I'm going to say something else, okay? Because I could see this happening. Oh, we got one.
We got one. Woohoo! Did it work?
Is it going to work? BDTR Live, what's on your mind?
Hello, it's Shelly.
Oh, hey, it's
Hi,
Shelly.
Hi, guys.
We were really hoping it was going to be Paul, so thanks for that.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't want to tie up the lines, but
No, you're
I
fine.
just wanted to get my 2 cents in here. Yeah, so I didn't know if you guys had any questions for me before I just wanted to basically clear up the air about the whole Randy thing, which, I mean,
What
because
is
I
that?
saw
What
that
is
he
that
made,
about? Because I don't understand why he attacked you like that.
so I don't really even know. I unfortunately go on the APH2 webpage every once in a while. Not that I want to see his post or hear his voice, because it just irks my soul now. But why I do that, unfortunately, is to see if he says anything about me, or to see, or I'll even go on, that fraud page that Chris has. It's become a part of my daily routine, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that he was going to be on that Bedford, or whatever that Bedford page is, that Cutting Edge Live or whatever. So
Yeah, Randy
I ended up
Delozier's
going
page.
on it, and it was just like the luck of God that I just went on, and within like 10 minutes, he says my name, and I'm thinking, what? Like, I mean, I couldn't believe it because, as Kylie mentioned, like, I was actually with Paul, unfortunately, the night that Ashley Messenger got arrested. The night, and whenever Paul went to the courthouse to file the PFA, I was with him, helped him fill out the paperwork. I was with him whenever he had the hearing. I was never a part of the PFA. My name was never on that document. So I was pissed. I was devastated because, like Kylie had just said, it's been how many months now, and I don't know why my name's still being smeared. And I've been very honest about my past, about the mistakes that I've made. But for the last couple years, I've been doing damage control, and I have my kids back and this and that. So right away, I didn't know what to do. So I contacted Kylie and I sent it to her, and she's like my little pit bull. And and I guess he did make a correction video, supposedly, if you want to call it that.
It
made this
wasn't much of
correction
a.
video.
It wasn't much of a
No,
correction. It was basically him, and then he started going off on me, which
yeah.
is kind of a
But
dumb
what
thing to
pissed
do.
me off, yeah, but what pissed me off is he knew my name. He said Shelly Kaufman how many times in the first video,
Mm-hmm.
and basically slandered and smeared my name through the mud. And then you want to make a supposed correction video, but you don't even have the audacity or the nerve to say my name. He just says Kaufman, Kaufman. Like, are you
Well,
fucking kidding me?
and here's the best part. So in that second video he had, he was basically like calling me out, like, because apparently the cricket video I made, like, that really chapped his chat or assless chaps.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
because he's like, oh, call in, call. But I guess Kylie, I think you watched that. He made it so nobody could call in it because I was going to. I mean, I have no problem, and I'm sure he'll do his show
Yeah,
tonight and be like, we didn't call in. Yeah, because I go live at 8 too, asshole.
yeah,
Like it, and my
exactly.
show is more important than yours because that's what he basically gave me this. But here's the key. Okay, so the way we do this podcast, we're not journalists, we're analysts. Okay, so we put the
Mm,
facts out there, but we give our opinion, we speculate. That's what we do. Now this asshole, Randy Delahousia, he you know, I had to get that in, but so he calls himself a fucking journalist, right?
yeah,
And he put out a complete false report about you. That he, like
right.
I said, either Paul gave him something that was fabricated or he lied.
Yeah.
That's the only two options.
Well, here's what I think is, because I'm now currently blocked, I guess, from the APH2 page, which is fine. But right after that Bedford, right after that video, first video was made, Paul went live from his home, and he said, I want to give a big shout out to Bedford Cutting Edge Live. They made a lot of good corrections for me, this and that. And I'm thinking, you asshole, clearly you watched that video. Clearly you heard him say my name, which is not accurate. Like,
Yep.
he knows who the PSA was against. So that tells me that Paul deliberately wanted him to say my name,
Yep.
because I was just subpoenaed a couple weeks ago. I got a phone call from the Cambria County District Attorney's Office saying that I had to report, like 2 days later, because of a catch that I did that I was a decoy for. So I went and I was hoping I wouldn't see Paul, but I did. Luckily, I didn't have to testify, but I made eye contact with him, and that was it. And now all of a sudden, he's putting this information out that supposedly he got a PFA against me. And, you know, if you go on Kylie's page, I mean, her and I and Sarah, you know, we did a whole live video about, or they did, I was just commenting about the audio recording proving, you know, that he knew about my child endangerment charge. He knew, you know, all that bullshit. I don't know.
Well, let's take a second and give him a little golf clap for actually showing up to court for once.
Yeah.
He actually showed up to
he
those
showed up
ones.
with,
Well, it's
with
probably because he
Jim
knew
Stitt.
she was going to be there, so.
Oh,
That's
God, yeah.
exactly.
Can we take a moment and also all ponder? Like, I'm not saying that there's definitely situations where a man has every right to get a PFA against a woman, but like, now he allegedly has 2 separate PFAs against 2 different women.
Pussy.
Like,
Yeah.
That's right, I said it.
that's all I'm saying. Like I said, I completely understand there are certain situations where it 100% makes sense. I'm not trying to talk that level of shit, but in this situation, I'm talking all the shit because it fits.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
it's not like y'all are like Amazonian women that just beat the ever like shit out of him or did something crazy. It sounds like one person just showed up to his house, and I don't even know what the heck. I don't even
I don't
know.
know.
Who the hell know. Like,
All I know is just whenever that whole, you know, I don't want to speak about too much about Ashley Messenger because that's not really, I feel like maybe I shouldn't even be saying her name like that. But, you know, I don't know the girl. I just know that she showed up and she was bloody. But, you know, Paul was with me. He worked and then he had picked me up after work and then we went back to his apartment. That was the first night I was at his apartment. And honestly, y'all, that should have been my first, that was my first red flag. Like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Like, but, you know, I'm just,
Well,
I don't know
so
why
here's
he
a here,
feels like, I just broke up with him because of all the lies. And now I'm still getting all this bullshit. I just
See,
don't understand.
like I said, we're analysts. So I just came up with this completely crazy conspiracy theory in my head just now that can't possibly be true. But do you think that maybe he didn't give a shit about your past or anything because he's more interested in dating you? So he'd be like, oh yeah, come join the Date Paul Club.
That's exactly what it was. And, you know, I spoke with somebody last night, I'm not going to say her name, who also briefly dated Paul. And, you know, it's like he has this pattern where he'll show up. He's very charismatic in the beginning, opens up car doors, brings me roses, you know, says all the right things. And, you know, from a woman who hasn't been with the best men, from a woman who hasn't made the best choices and decisions, you know, the whole reason why I wanted to join APH was because I didn't protect my children from myself when I was going through my addiction. And I really truly thought, you know, this was a way for me to, you know, make something good out of something bad, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And all it did was just, you know, I don't want to say ruin my life, so I'm not going to give him that credit, but he sure has tried.
so I'll say it. Paul's basically a fucking predator.
Well,
He goes
Yeah.
after women. He
he's
goes
very
after women.
transactional.
He goes after women that have, you know, whether it be some kind of background, whether it's they had a bad past, they you know, maybe not very self-confidence, but it sounds like he goes specifically after certain kinds of women. And then
Yeah.
whatever
100%.
doesn't work out, he holds it over their head like no one's going to believe you. No one's going to believe you.
Yeah.
But then he wants to come on here and pretend like he's fucking trying to
for a
protect people.
t-shirt. That's how it all started. And I assumed because of my misdemeanor child endangerment charge, no, it's not multiple, as he claims. It was one charge. And, you know, and it was a horrible, horrible part of my life that, you know, I don't like to talk about, but I'm very open to talk about it. I don't, you know, it's made me the person and the mother I am today. And anybody that wants to know, I'm very open about it. I've never hidden that from anybody. And that's what upset me so much. So he told me that the whole group knew about it, that he had a meeting with everybody. Come to find out, that was all. Everything that man said to me, everything. He even had me go on his Facebook page because when I found out that he had 2 kids, not 1, but 2.
He's got more than that.
Well,
Yeah,
apparently
he has
he's got
3,
3.
doesn't he?
But
He's got 3.
on Facebook, that he told me when I met him, he only has 1 son. And then I was doing some digging, and I was on his Facebook, the Paul Joseph Facebook, and I see all these old posts with him holding a baby who is not the child, it's another child, and all these posts about, so I told him that, look, I need to take a break from you. You lied to me. He told me that that second child wasn't his. This is talking about Katie DeViglia now, that she cheated on him, this and that, blah, blah, blah. He actually asked me to help him go on his Facebook and delete those posts and those pictures off of there. Because I said, if this child is not yours, why is it still on your Facebook? Oh, I don't know how to delete it off. Help me. So I did that. And then if you watch that latest video of him in the house, you can clearly hear that child is in the background. And I know that because Crazy Chris commented, because she's like the moderator, I guess now, she commented that those kids that you hear in the background are the kids that the hyenas claim that Paul never gets to see, or that Paul doesn't want nothing. So I'm thinking, what? Like, I just don't understand it.
Well, he's a complete fraud. And that's what pisses me off too. So he's going to drag you through the mud when he's done the same thing over and over and over, lived his life as a piece of trash. You're trying to, move on from your past, which honestly, it is what it is.
You can't change what you did. It's what
shit
you're
happens.
now.
Yeah, you shouldn't be punished for the rest of your life. But if you're going to be
I
somebody
was in a
like
head-on
him,
car accident. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. That's fine.
I'm not making excuses for what I did. I was in a head-on car accident back in 2013. I used to be a nurse's aide, and I was wheelchair bound for quite some time, even in a nursing home. And I got addicted to my pain pills, and it led me down a dark, terrible path. And but I'll be 2 years clean in December. It's not much, but it's something. And, I'm trying to, like I said, damage control all that and get back what I once had. And I'm very open about that. I mean, and I don't care if somebody wants to talk about me, but I just want to make sure it's the damn truth. That's where I stand,
All right. Well, we got a few other callers we want to get to here.
Yep.
We really appreciate you calling in, though.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shelly. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Shelly.
I'm glad Shelly called in, especially with everything going on. This way she had a chance to actually.
Like I said, she's so sweet.
You can tell she's very sweet.
You got the other caller. Did she call in already, or is she going to call back?
I don't think she's tried yet. The phone number is on the screen now.
Yeah, 412-440-3484.
They just need a moment. Okay. Well, if everyone doesn't mind, let's give this one specific guest a second so they can call in, and then we'll open the line, so to speak, for everyone else again.
This one should be interesting.
We definitely want to hear from this one, and we appreciate you being willing to call in.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm saying, guys. Is this?
Wait, what?
What?
Is it what I think?
Maybe.
We'll look down the chat for a second.
I just did.
Yeah. That's why I don't know if you saw me over here beating the crap out of him for a second.
I did,
Ouch.
and now I just
Get
because
bruised in the
both of
market
them
to get a
open right
PFA
now.
against you.
So abusive.
No.
You know what? Crazy's going to take that clip
I
now.
know.
She beats him. She
Oh,
beats him.
yeah. I'm big enough.
Oh, I forgot my whip, Abby. I forgot
Oh,
it.
shit. Sorry. I forgot to remind you. Listen, we were all discombobulated, obviously, the way this call started and the whole 9 yards, but it's been gold from.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think we've done great tonight, especially if she calls in next. It's going to be
absolutely.
opening the floodgates. So, but yeah, it's just when you have
Okay, here we go.
BDTR live Wednesday night live. What's on your mind?
Oh yes, this is Caitlin DeViglia. Like I had said, I planned on calling in. I've had it, I'm just trying to keep it all together.
Right.
So I just feel like the need to air everything out. At this point, just hearing all that from Shelly. Paul has put me through the ringer for years, Um, basically, like I had said, or that was mentioned more or less, he has 3 children. 2 are by me, of course. At one point, he was dating this Danielle. I can't recall her last name offhand. Oh, no, Danielle Thompson. Where this all began, Paul had mentioned when it came to Carson that, you know, he told her that Carson wasn't his. And I believe that was after they got married, because Danielle was attempting to have Paul see Carson, like she wanted to go out and do things with him. And Paul used the excuse that, you know, Carson wasn't his. Just, you know, that way he didn't have to get him and spend time with him, the whole 9 yards. So at that point, you know, it just baffled me, more or less, because, you know, he was there throughout my pregnancy. He signed the birth certificate. You know, he went to all my appointments, the whole 9 yards. Never, you know, had any second guesses as to Carson wasn't his up until, you know, he was married to Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, like, it was hard for me, but I had to remain strong for him. I went ahead and I wanted a DNA test done just to prove to Danielle that, you know, he is in fact Carson, which I do have that. I can provide that proof. I went to Walmart, bought a paternity test. At that point, we went to Ted Kroll's, which is his attorney. They did the swabbing and everything else. And then I paid for the DNA test as well as, like, to, you know, get it tested, which was well over $100 on my end, on my part. And then I received it in the mail, and it came back that Carson's 99.9% his. But, you know, just hearing what Shelly had to say, it kind of, like, you know, upset me, because I didn't know he's still going around stating that, you know, Carson isn't his. That will be something that I can provide at a later time, because Carson's acting father, him and I separated about a little over a year ago, and it's currently at his house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, Paul has been out of Carson's life since he was 13 months old. So hence as to why he has an acting father that stepped up. And to this day, you know, of course, Carson was too young, you know, so he doesn't see Paul as, okay, that's my dad. He sees my ex, Ray, as his father. And not once did I ever choose to keep Carson away from Paul.
Mm-hmm.
He just chose not to be a dad.
If you need to take a minute, Katie, take a minute.
Well, and I think this just goes to show that his big argument, oh, it's, you know, I just care about the kids. He doesn't fucking care about his own kids.
And that's what irritates me, because, you know, like, he's out there trying to run this pred hunting crap. And it irks me, because it's like he wants to protect children's lives. But at the same time, he's not even worried about his own.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just having a hard time, because, you know, he's been this way since we separated, as far as wanting nothing to do with Carson. And like I said, I never once kept him away from Carson. That was his choice. And, you know, that all came about, you know, when he was married to Danielle, and I proved it. And it's just mind-boggling, you know, still to this day, he's stating that Carson isn't his. He had Shelly delete the pictures.
That's
It's just a
unreal.
hard thing with it. Yeah.
But like I said, Kate, if you ever need to take a minute, take a minute. Obviously, I would be upset if I was in your shoes as well. Just Paul's just a fucking piece of shit. I can't. Like, especially,
Like, I mean,
that's just, dude.
yeah. I mean, I've honestly learned to stand my grounds with him. I don't care if he's watching. I don't. Like, hearing that from Shelly, just, I've had enough. I've been dealing with this for years. I'm sick and tired of it.
You shouldn't have to keep dealing with it. It's absolutely and honestly, like Carson, how the hell is he gonna feel when he gets older and he keeps hearing all the shit about it? Like, obviously, he doesn't recognize Paul in that way, but that's
Yeah,
still fucked.
exactly.
No kid ever should have to hear that shit.
Well, and Paul
And for
should
him to
know
be
better
running
because
his mouth.
his dad basically kicked him to the curb, and he's doing the same damn thing.
Yes, and you know, I kind of know the background on that and the whole 9 yards to a point, to a sense. And it's like, I understand that that's how he was brought up, but at the same time, you would think,
He should
I
know
don't know,
better
you
of
know,
all
Yeah.
people.
yeah, yeah, like regardless, he's an adult, he's, you know, a dad regardless, and it's just he doesn't get it.
Yeah, I'm not speechless on here very often, but holy shit.
I have
I
a
mean,
very
that's
a very nasty taste in my mouth right now because like I really just want to go the hell off and just spit out a whole bunch of profanity about this son of a bitch, but I'm trying really hard to not.
It's like I said, though, you know, while I was pregnant, even, you know, he never questioned it up until it seemed like we separated, divorced, and, you know, he eventually married that Danielle. That's where it all came to light.
so. How many times has he been married?
I'm not sure. Like, he was married to me, he was married to Danielle, and then he's telling me that he was married like once or twice thereafter. So a total of like 3 or 4 times.
Jesus Christ.
Well, when he finally kicks the bucket, there's going to be a run on Social Security. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, he never works long enough to.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
very good point. You're right. You're right.
Yep.
That was fake news. You got me, Randy.
I'm so sorry you had
I
you're
can't.
going through this, Katie. Like, are you okay? Like, I'm sure you're not okay, but like, are you okay?
I mean, I've been dealing with this since 2011, as far as with him, and then, you know, when he got married to Danielle, and then, you know, now I'm hearing this, and it's like, I just feel the need to prove myself, with which I can and will do. It's just a matter of time, you know, when I can get down to my son's acting fathers and get that paternity test, and I'll send it over to you guys. I don't have a problem doing so. I'm just honestly, this is the second woman that I've heard of, as far, you know, as Paul stating to them that Carson isn't his.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, of course, he got a letter as well. I showed him the proof through text message when I got the letter in the mail. And it's just, again, it's mind-boggling to hear he's still stating this to this day, even after the paternity test has been completed and proven to us both.
So he's willing to make up every other document in the world, but when you give him actual evidence, he'll deny it till he's blue in the fucking face, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Well, evidence doesn't lie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the way that I feel nowadays, the proof is where it's at.
You know, I wonder how many kids he told Crazy Chris he has.
It makes you wonder because, like,
That's
one
what I
minute
said.
it's
I don't
one,
even know if
one
she
minute
knows
it's
the
two.
truth.
She probably
But
doesn't.
in all reality, he has 3.
Unreal.
Nothing to do with any of them. Do any of them know him, like, at all?
The only one like that knows him is Peyton. You know, Carson, of course, is familiar with him at this point, but he doesn't like. In all reality, he doesn't understand. Okay, that's my dad. You know, and that makes sense.
I'm still a little bit speechless, honestly. Like, I just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one guy, Jim in the chat, he said, I need to make a billboard with his picture to
Yeah.
inform all the women about him. It's not a bad idea, man.
No, it's not, because it sounds like there's a lot more women than we initially thought that have probably gone through something similar. And that's absolute horseshit, because, like, I know I've lightly touched on it before on the show, but, like, my daughter's biological father is not a good person. He is a piece of fucking shit. And just, when I hear other women going through similar things, it just makes my blood absolutely boil. And they just keep getting away with it.
No, those assholes,
think
then they got shut the
I've-
fuck down.
I think I've had 8
Well,
or
see,
9
like where
reach
I'm
out to me.
at with it, like I know about Paul. I hear all this stuff, the whole 9 yards, but I'm not the type to bash someone. I just kind of listen and, I try not to put his business out there. I'm not the type to create issues. So I try to stay out of it because there's just so much going on. And honestly, I don't have the time on my hands for that.
Mm-hmm.
Carson is my main priority first and foremost, as far as because he's on the spectrum. So, that takes a lot of work.
Absolutely.
On
Well,
a
and
daily basis.
this goes for everybody. Okay, guys, we didn't want to do this podcast. I swear to God, we just want Paul to go the fuck away.
Yeah.
We're tired of talking about him, but it's the point when Bedford County jackass threw Shelley's name out there. I'm like, all right, we got to fucking address it because this is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's beyond
You guys should be able to
ridiculous.
come on here, listen to our show, comment on the page, or any page for that matter, and not have to worry about somebody like Crazy Chris suddenly
Yeah.
hounding you to the point that it's literal harassment. Hitting
Yeah.
up people
And before you
posting
just go being
information.
somebody's use, because anybody we bring on here, before we bring them on, we vet them a little bit. At least a little bit. So if you just want to be a useful idiot for people like Paul, go for it. You're going to look stupid every time. Every fucking time and time again.
We have a question in the comments real quick for Miss Katie, if she is willing to confirm or deny or say if she even knows. Can you confirm if it was Carson in his video as Crazy Chris said it was?
Yes, it definitely was. But he said his 2 kids. I so happen to be here as well as Carson, and that's the only child that is here. It was not 2 children.
Wow. Out of the 3, keep in mind,
Yeah.
let's just pretend the other one doesn't even exist. Again, sounds like that's his trend, which is
Yep.
absolutely
Well,
disgusting.
it's like I said, I don't try to bash Paul. I don't try to get in the mix of all this. What I like to call it is drama. It's just too much for me, honestly. I'm not the type to bash him. I'm not like that. I know what I know. I keep it to myself. I don't speak to anybody. But one thing I'm not going to allow at this point is, it's bad enough he hasn't been involved. But it's to the point now where this is the second time I've heard of him denying Carson. And I'm sure there's other women that have heard it as well. But I'm just done with it. Like, I'm not going to keep going through this and putting myself through it.
No, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. Like, I can clearly hear how stressed out you are right now, and that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
you've got your hands full. You need to be focusing on Carson and not all this crazy shit that Paul's doing and running his mouth about. He wants to
And
act a
that's
fool.
why
It shouldn't
I
affect
don't
you.
like to get involved. I don't put my 2 cents in. I just say nothing, as far as that goes. I don't reach out to anybody, as far as like downing Paul or speaking on him. You know what I mean? I tend not to. But when it comes, to this, I feel the need to.
Right.
Can I be so bold as to ask another question, if you're willing to answer?
Go ahead.
Since we, have brought it up a lot, have you ever seen his DD-214? Like, do you know if it actually exists? If you don't want to say you absolutely don't have to, I wanted to ask. I figured, why the hell not?
Yeah, I prefer not to say. Like,
Okay.
I think back in the day, if I can recall, like I had a lot of people come at me. I believe one of those people so happened to be your husband, and him and I kind of, hit heads there to a point because, I was like, well, I'm unaware. I don't know. I'm not certain. I'm just going by what he's saying, what he's telling me, what I'm seeing. But, how am I to know?
That's fair. Like I said, if you didn't want to answer, you don't have to answer. I just wanted to ask while I had the chance to.
Yeah,
Because that has been a hot topic question.
I've noticed that. Like, when it comes to him, he's an adult. That's for him to provide if he can and is willing to, and as well speak upon. And like I said, I try not to get into his business and into this mess, more or less. I try to stay out of it, and I just focus on what I need to focus on. It's just, I'm not going to keep hearing that Carson is not his.
And you shouldn't have to. And neither should Carson ever have to hear it one day either. That's horseshit.
Yeah. That's one thing I will stand my grounds on, you know, and I'm going to. So, like I said, I just felt the need to put it out there, you know. I mean, that's, again, if Paul's listening, more power to him. I told him I was calling in. That way he was aware. He's probably listening, I'm sure, but I'm just tired of hearing this. Like, I'm bringing it to a halt. I will provide that paternity testing when I'm able to grab it for proof.
Someone else actually just commented in there saying, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but now there's a third person saying that he also swore to her that Carson wasn't his and that you had lied and cheated. And apparently, whoa, okay, hang on. I'm going to just read the full comment here. Katie, he swore to me that Carson was not his and that you lied and cheated. He also told me you pulled a gun on him and sliced his arm open. You want to make, just want to make you aware so you can protect yourself and Carson.
Okay, first of all, there was never any guns in our places that we have lived. I do not carry, never have, never been around a gun because he never had one. So that's a lie.
I mean, I'm not surprised to hear it's a lie. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, and if you want, you can find it in the comments after the call, but this person just wanted to make you aware of what was said.
And that's what I'm saying, you know, there's more women out there that, you know, he has told. He may tell every woman that he's with that Carson isn't his, for all I know, you know, and hence as to why, you know, I want to provide that proof, and I will. When a child is coming back 99.9% yours, Paul, the child's yours.
Yeah.
I get tired of hearing it. It's a hard thing to hear.
Right. Would you be comfortable telling us how old were you when you and Paul started dating?
I was 18.
You were 18, okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just trying to hold it together, you know. It's just,
I can hear it.
I've been through a lot throughout the years, you know, with when it comes to him, when it came to him. And it's just like it never ends. It's always something with him, you know, and this is one thing I will stand my grounds on. It's gonna come to a halt with him denying Carson. I tried to bring it to a halt by providing that proof, and like I said, if he thought his Carson wasn't his, he should have never signed the birth certificate. He should have asked for a DNA test right there.
Exactly.
And I figured, you know, even though I shouldn't have, I felt the need to prove to him that Carson was in fact his. And he knew it, you know, because again, he signed the birth certificate. Like, he had no doubts. He never said anything to me until he got with Danielle. And then suddenly, you know, it was, you know, I was cheating and this, that, and the other.
I mean, he likes to tell stories, so.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, a lot of them, as you can see, are made up. They come out of nowhere. Like, you know, I held a gun to him. Are you serious? Again, I hope he's listening. I hope he calls in. I hope he comments, because that's a straight lie. I'm not going to make, you know, myself out to look bad or have him make me look to be the bad person. Like, yes, we had turmoil in the past. And it was very bad on both of our parts.
I want him to call in and tell me he was a Marine for X amount of time and this is the day he went to basic. I bet he won't. Do it, Paul. Do it. Prove me wrong.
Paul, call me.
Yep.
Call me, buddy.
Numbers on the screen.
The evil Kylie surveillance is waiting.
Ooh. The control's all about tuna.
The boss.
Yeah, it's just,
Me and
it's wild.
me.
Yeah, very. The stories that, you know, people tell you, it's like, I don't know who that chick is that commented, but it's like, who's that anyways? Is that an ex too? You know? I
Honestly,
can't
don't
keep
know.
up, but, you know, it's like, I probably don't even know her, but at the same time, it's like, that's news to me, because that was never even the case.
It's like I learned something new about myself every day.
Yeah.
I have learned so much
Yeah,
about
really.
myself
I
the
didn't know
last
I did
3
that.
months.
And if I did, I'm the type to admit to it, I can't say it was all Paul back then. It kind of was, I'm not going to get in the mix of all that, but it was kind of like a mutual thing at one point with, the tension and the problems and the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But a person can only take so much,
Right.
the way that I see it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. So, do you have
Yep.
anything else you want to get off your chest, or?
No, I think that's everything. Like I said, I'm just trying to not stick my nose too far into it where it doesn't belong, I feel, at this point.
Are you gonna be good after calling in about this? Like, are you good where you're at with everything? Like, because if I understood you right, where you're at doesn't sound like it's maybe the greatest place at the moment.
Yes, I'm fine.
Well, I think Paul would probably have to think twice because this is a live stream. A lot of people are going to see it, so don't do anything stupid, buddy.
It's at this point, I hope and pray he does call in, like, what's he going to say? Because, of course, I'm going to be watching. I kind of want to know where he's at with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd love for him to call in. We've been waiting for months at this point.
I've been waiting for like 10
Yeah.
years to see his fucking DDP 14, so I'm not getting my hopes up.
He'll have his chihuahua do it.
Yeah.
The-
All
with
right,
his-
well, I don't
with
want
his-
to hold the line in case anybody else decides to call in.
Well, thank you for taking a minute to call in. I'm sorry that you had to go through all that. I know that wasn't easy to hear and get off your chest, but I hope you do feel a bit better now that you have. If you ever need someone to talk to, our messages are open.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of your night. Wishing you and Carson the
You-
best.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Did not expect that.
Well, that was interesting.
I just really hope she's okay.
Oh, I think if she's bold enough to call in, she knows he's watching. She's not afraid of him. So, like I said, he better think twice.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really that tough.
Well, no.
Honestly.
Clearly not if he has to get PFAs against women.
I mean, regularly
saying.
he tries to. So
if you understand that reference, we can be friends.
Uncle Watcha. I better not do that. We'll get flagged again.
Oh yeah. Hey, be careful. Shout out to Uncle Roger. That's how we cover our ass.
I still can't believe that video from the other night got taken down, though,
I can't.
because it was just, I don't know.
We had keywords that they don't like, babe.
Yep.
Oh. Well, let's give this another couple minutes. I highly doubt that Paul's going to call in, but we'll give him a couple more minutes.
I'm sure the dog ate his phone, so I was going to call and then press this fucking dog that she shocks all the time, took my
Yeah.
phone. That's what we should have done, is played that video.
Yeah.
'Cause that's,
We'll bring that up maybe this weekend, just because with the way we have to run the video stuff right now, it'll kind of screw everything up if we try and pull the video up right
Yeah.
now.
I could always do a tutorial on how to use streaming software and help Randy out.
super easy, guys.
Come on, Paul, you calling?
So easy, even a Bedford caveman can do it.
Yeah. Wait, listen. Listen.
Can you still hear the fucking
Yeah,
cricket?
the fucking cricket is still screaming.
The
Wait, look,
cricket
I'm
was
in the
real,
chat,
guys. The cricket is real. It's a real cricket. It's out in the garage. It's annoying as hell. So that's why I made a video and made it at least a little bit useful.
Mm-hmm. Gotta welcome everybody that's joined in again.
Then it upset all the, there's professional journalists that don't know how to use streaming software.
I like our little setup. It's fun.
I really thought there was like a chance that Randy might call in because like he's just enough of that, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. Like in a fight, he could probably kick Paul's ass. Just
Listen, realistically, in
I-
a fight, our 6-year-old could kick Paul's ass. Let's be real here.
I was just gonna say my 7-year-old could.
Yeah.
That's what. See, he's one of these like scammy kind of like. Why doesn't he just set up a fight between him and somebody else and then just take a fall and like make a bunch of money or something? I mean, it sounds like something he could do.
Give it too much.
I'm surprised that's not a thing he's done.
You just gave him an idea.
God damn it.
Way to go. Thank you everybody in the comments for all the love. I could try to keep up with answering everybody, but tonight y'all are on fire, and I'm sorry, I just can't keep up.
Well, that and
We see you. We appreciate you. Thank you.
it's honestly, I think we did pretty good with having 3 people plus the callers because it's kind of hard to not because I know there is a little bit of a delay with Kylie too, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
just got to learn to work with it. But I don't know. I like this, and I think another thing we've been talking about is maybe doing like a round table once a month. Have a couple of us in here. Some of you guys in the comments maybe be able to join in. Do like a big video call, like maybe 5-10 people.
That'd be fun.
Be interesting. Just go over some like current events and stuff. Like, what's your thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on that? I think that'd be cool.
You guys are killing me in the comments.
Never change, Caleb. I love you, brother. I graduated with him. Central proud. You get him.
That's why I love this podcast. You never know what the hell's gonna happen.
No, it's yeah.
Oh man.
Good
Oh,
times.
so just for jokes for the last 30 seconds, what's your opinion on Altoona style pizza?
That's
I'm not gonna
that's my
lie.
opinion.
I'm not gonna lie. The amount of immense joy that I had in my heart after a convention when one of the out of town artist peoples were like, "Oh, we're all gonna go over to the Owl's restaurant. What should we get?" I ended up getting there 5 minutes late, and they excitedly tell me they ordered Altoona pizza, and oh my god, they can't wait to try it. I held the best poker face I've ever pulled in my life, but oh, the satisfaction watching them take that first bite and the like reeling after the bite. I was like, yeah. If that's not your reaction, I'm worried.
I will say though, if you want to get the best, worst pizza in Altoona, being the Altoona Pizza, shout out to 29th Street. It's not really a restaurant; it's like the convenience store there. It's on
Yes.
Fifth Avenue there, I think. 29th Street, Fifth Avenue.
Well,
Everything else is good. Like Altoona Pizza is gonna suck no matter where you get it, but everything there's good except the Altoona Pizza, just like everywhere else. Did I help their business? I'm sorry, Steve. If
so the guy in the comments on one of the pages, I don't know, he's from Philly and he thinks the Altoona pizza is just that he can't. He thinks it's a sin.
It is a sin.
I thought you were gonna say he liked it, and I'm like, well, maybe it's an acquired taste. You know, I just don't have the mental fortitude to force myself to eat that enough to decide to like it. You know, maybe.
No.
I don't hate it. Like I like it cold. That's the only way I really like it. Now
You're a
the
better person
omelet,
than I
I've been
am.
curious to try, Terry.
Oh, I was like, what
Pizza
the
The
omelet.
omelet kind of.
I thought she said
like it might be
vomlet
better
for
than
a second.
pizza.
I'm like, why would? Okay, so for any of you who don't know what that is, there was an MRE. I don't think they have it anymore, but it was a veggie omelet, and they called it the vomlet because it was pretty awful. So, but I thought you said vomlet, and I'm like, what? They sell those at
Well,
restaurants?
I mean, it might as well be. Might as well.
Oh man.
You can tell it's Wednesday. And
Martinsburg pizza,
Yeah.
you know.
oh, Barger's in there.
A lot of people are hopping in now.
What-
Hello, everybody that's in late.
Yeah, Charlie's in there. Martinsburg
Oh,
Pizza.
shit.
Yeah, Martinsburg Pizza's good.
I like Mama Rendoza's, not for like pizza, but I like
Can't.
Mama Rendoza's pasta.
Well, their pizza's good. I mean, I worked at OIP over in Juniata, not Sal's, the other one on North Second Street, but their food was pretty good. Because when I worked there, I almost felt like for the price, even back then, like it was like the salads were like packed freaking full, and it was almost like we were giving away too much food for the price, you know. But it was really good. I ate pizza every day when I worked there, so.
I can't lie. I think family pizza is honestly just probably like my favorite.
They have a
That-
really good
Pizza,
hash browns.
salad.
I had not had
All of
family.
it.
I had not had family pizza in probably years because we used to go in when they did the karaoke on like what was it like Friday or Saturday nights, and I hadn't had a pizza from there in years. But I will say that pizza we got when we were up the last time that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I just like everything. Their dressings, it never disappoints.
We
So
have a
shout out to that owner. Wink,
we-
wink. I can't wink, but
We have a Husson's is what's called down here, and honestly, as far as like, I guess pizza that isn't Pizza Hut or your main chain, Husson's has been pretty good. Like it reminds me a lot of the OIP sauce and like their crust style, and I like their salad. They have a fiery chicken salad, and it's actually pretty good, in my opinion.
Well, it's good when they remember the salad because see, I
Yeah.
usually pick it up when I'm on my way home from work, and depending on who's working in there, they're like, "Oh, this is your order," and she orders it ahead of time, so I don't know what she tells me now.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the damn salad. No.
I was so pissed off the one night. I won't lie. I was ready to drive down there just to get the damn salad. I
Well,
was so salty.
And I do. My route's like almost 300 miles, and start to finish from the house, it's over 300 miles. So, you know, I get home and she's like, "Where's my salad?" I'm like, "I'm not driving back." Sorry.
I was salty.
Call them and get a refund.
sorry.
I mean, I called and I got I did get a
Get it.
refund for it, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like they found it, and I
Get
was
here
like,
next time.
honestly though, like I think it did kind of come around to help because the next time when I ordered it, I asked for extra fiery chicken, and they like packed that damn salad. Like the whole top was just chicken, and I was like, "Ooh," it was almost a little too spicy for me, and I love spicy food. And I was like, "Holy shit, y'all did it right!" All right, let's add more hot sauce.
Yeah, honestly, that's the thing we were thinking of doing, just not as like a regular podcast, but just doing like a hot sauce challenge because we've kind of become connoisseurs of hot sauce. Like and I don't know when I did, but apparently I'm like really good at eating hot stuff now because we
Yeah.
actually got the hot ones, like some kind of pack at Sam's Club. It came with like 3 of them, including the Apollo sauce. And
Which
I
is
just,
like the level 10 hot sauce. Like
Yeah.
they put one little dab on it, and like the guests are like dying.
I didn't exactly drink it, but like there was a pretty good heaping.
I will post a video at some point. This man took the nugget and rolled it around in there. It was dripping when he pulled it out, and just like chomp, one bite, and I'm just sitting there waiting for it.
I mean, it burns you for a while, but it's not like the people on the show. Like, "Oh God, I'm dying!" Like it's not that bad.
The only thing I noticed with you is that your face matched your hair for a little bit, and you sweated a little bit. But other than that, he
mean,
wasn't dying. He wasn't
that-
gagging. He wasn't like.
That happens anytime I do anything. Like
I know it's because you're a
if I
ginger.
get up and walk across the room, my face turns beet red. 'Cause it's like as soon as the blood gets pumping.
He's a ginger.
He's
Unfortunately,
not a ginger. He's a carrot top.
Just
Let's get it
is
right.
like that.
he still has a soul.
Whatever clown, some sort of something that what are some sort of 3-ring circus over here.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we started. There's a controversy down there. Does pineapple belong on
Oh,
pizza? I
Jesus.
personally say yes.
Like we're breaking the
I like-
internet tonight,
I
people.
like pineapple on pizza because if you do it right, and you put a little bit of salt too, it's just enough of the sweet and the salt together, in my opinion. Especially if you get the ham, you got to get salty ham on there too.
Mhm.
I think it's good. It took a long time for me to come around to that, but I've conceded. I personally think it's good.
Well, and if you like,
Don't hate
if
me.
you like the ham, you can always swap that out, do bacon or even chicken, or anything. It's
Bacon.
as long as you have some kind of. Honestly, like even like pineapple and pepperoni probably wouldn't be bad.
I just
'Cause
can't
it's-
eat pepperoni. 'Cause it's
yeah,
very
I
it's
just don't like
personally.
pineapple.
Extra greasy.
Well, that's fair. If you don't like pineapple, you're not obviously not going to like it on anything.
Exactly.
It's like we both hate mushrooms. There's very few things that he won't eat, but we
Never.
both agree that
No.
we do not like mushrooms. So I was like, yes.
I won't. Can't pay me.
No, I would drive my Nana insane because she made like the best spaghetti on earth, but she always had
Always put
mushrooms in it, and I was
mushrooms.
always I had to get sneaky because she was old school. She gets so mad at me, She'd like pull the nun thing like, "Wah, you eat the mushrooms," and I'd have to like sit there and like begrudgingly eat them. So I started getting sneaky and like tucking them underneath a pile of pasta, and I would always leave that pile there at the end of the meal and be like, "Oh, I'm full. I don't want the rest of it." When in reality, it's this hiding amount of mushrooms. I didn't want her to beat my ass over it.
Or
I
remember
love
that time
Hannah.
one time we were at my parents' house and
Yes.
my dad was like, "Oh, you want an onion bowl or whatever?" Because my dad's kind of a picky eater, so my mom will make something, he'll pick all the onions out of it or whatever.
Because like with my Crohn's, when we were there, she made something that had corn in it, and I can't eat corn. But like I like the taste of corn, and corn's easy enough to eat around. But like it was funny because he already had a bowl, and he like I could see he thought about it, and then he brings me this little bowl, and he's like, "Here you go, a bowl to throw your corn in." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet, thank you." Like honestly, it meant a lot to me when he did that. Like it made me feel really good. It was like such because his dad doesn't say a whole lot. We don't really like talk a whole lot. His dad's a lot like him. Like literally when I met his dad, I was like, "Oh my God, you like cloned yourself, but gave yourself like the only difference between the two of them is the hair and like you're taller." But when it comes to like the way you guys talk and like your mannerisms and stuff, like you were and the way you look, like you were so alike. So like I was super excited. I was like, "Oh, he gave me a little bowl to pick my stuff out of. I'm so happy." Like I'm sitting there like a little kid just scooping corn out. Like I made it a whole thing to like pull all the corn out just because he gave me a bowl to do so. It's a little shit, guys. I'm easy to make happy.
All right, well, I guess we can wrap it up here because Christ, we almost made it a half hour, so that's pretty hour and a half. Excuse me, and it is Wednesday. So thanks for everybody deciding to come out. I know the comments got kind of crazy there at the end, but hopefully I think we all learned something and had a few surprises tonight with the folks that called in, so that's good. I mean, I couldn't have went any better in my opinion. But we'll be back Saturday. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check with I think the Eichelberger thing. You're supposed to do that. I'll have to check with the guest again, but.
I usually don't know what the hell's going on until right before we start, to be completely
Well, I'm just going to
so.
say it's going to be about John Eichelberger, but not that John Eichelberger, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense to anybody because I hadn't even heard this story either. So we'll see. Hopefully we can have them on. If not, we'll find. Because I know there was a guy that commented on the page earlier. I guess he was having some issues, I think, with East Freedom. So I'm going to have to get in touch with him and see, have him on too.
That last comment's taking me out right now. I'm sorry, we're trying to wrap it up, and I had to point that out. Oh, Lord. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I'm glad that we got to go over all this craziness, and I'm looking forward to talking to everybody again on Saturday. Kylie, thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight, and your setup is wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely anytime. We'll have to have you
I
again
had a
in the
curtain.
future. Ooh, the fan. You know it's fancy when you have a curtain. We have one too.
Absolutely.
It's just solid green.
Yep, I hung one.
You can't tell. All right, we all need to go to bed. I think we're all getting tired.
All right, guys. Yep. Thanks for being in here tonight. We'll see you Saturday.
All right, see you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.